Hi and welcome back everyone. In this video we're just going to look at a couple of the different noise nodes and how they work, how they can be blended to create kind of more and more interesting patterns and things like that. So if you jump in on the file that we had previously, we have this kind of shape, or if you've got anything near to that, then that's quite good. What I want to do is actually take these two, which is this shape in the middle, and I'm just going to delete them. Or I suppose actually what we could do is just delete those and move those for there now. And that way if we want them, want to keep them or reuse them, we can do. And what I'm going to do is I want to give this bit in the middle a little bit of texture. It's a bit too flat for my liking, what we're going to do is we're going to add some noise. So noise isn't necessarily sort of a voluminous or audio phenomena. It's something that can be applied to a wide range of things, and it generally just means kind of dispersed random values. So if you think about, just generic noise can be just sounds that you hear. Noise could also be like a roughness on something. Noise could be, in video when you see static, that could be sort of a noise. And they're really, really helpful for creating a range of different height maps. So I'm just going to press space. And if I search for noise, you'll notice that there's a lot of the sort of different types. And really, it doesn't really matter which one you use for this. But what I'm probably going to use is black and white spots one, I suppose we'll do. And once we open that up, we can see that we get this black and white noise, and it's kind of completely random. Really, you can change the seed if you want a different kind of display. That one will do. It doesn't really matter again, and you can sort of change the scale of the noise. But again, for now, that's fine. And remember, in the previous video, we were looking at using the levels node to be able to change this, and we can go ahead and add that in if you like. And here you can, kind of create more black, so this will be, a greater difference between where these are white and where this is black. So this will be quite a sharp noise, whereas if we move the white in and we actually maybe fade out a lot of it, that will be quite high, but we won't get quite as many extreme ranges. But I'll just set that back, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now put that in there, and we can see immediately that that's made a huge difference to our texture. And actually, it kind of looks a bit like sand or mud or something that's in there. And what I'm going to do, firstly, if yours doesn't look like this, if it's covering the border as well, just go to this blend and make sure that you've got it on screen and 100%. If you've got it on something like copy, you might just have this, or anything else, you might have these kinds of things. So this is another opportunity to sort of play around with the blending modes and see how they work. And remember that you can scroll here, there's a few more. But I've got screen, so where we've got this flat white, that's going to kind of override whatever we've got here. And now, so if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that that is quite extreme. And if I kind of play around with this, you can see that the height values are going to get sort of higher or lower. And if I knock out some of the lower gradients, it's going to get a little bit softer. I kind of like that. That's a bit more what I'm going for. However, it's kind of now a bit too high for me. So maybe actually I want this to be kind of more like this. So it's a bit lower. I can sort of still see where the border is and things. And this now has become the basis for my height map. You can see here from this node that it is becoming more and more complex, and I can simply just take this, add a new blend, onto here and put this in here, if I want to add more noise, maybe I want, yeah, let's do some of this. So we can see here we've got more of these like sideways kind of values, whereas on here it was just more like a cloud. So if we add this into here and obviously change this, let's just knock this down to something like, sorry, other way. We might be able to start seeing some of those lines come through as we drop this. There we go, we can sort of see them starting to come through. And maybe we want to actually you know, change the way this looks or change the values in here. So remember, again, we could use a blur to, you know, make those lines less sort of definitive. Maybe we don't want them quite that much, so maybe just like a soft blur in there, and we can sort of see those ripples just coming through there. And again, we can sort of change this around. You know, maybe I want this to be screen as well, so it kind of looks like poorly sort of poured concrete right now, or maybe an add sub, so I can sort of see the difference between the two. You know, really kind of just play around with these, have a look. You may even want to just go to copy and do a 50-50 split, or maybe you prefer one over the other. And you know, yeah, you can sort of start to play around with these a little bit more. Maybe you actually want these not to be completely straight, so if you wanted to add maybe a directional warp on there, and you wanted this to be kind of a slightly different shape, we could always add maybe one of these in here, and we can see now that that's sort of starting to you know, move those shapes around a little bit. You can always you know, add a whole range of nodes on there to start building up a more and more complex graph, and you can see that it's already beginning to look quite complicated. Maybe this is actually you know, not enough, and what we want to do here is add another blend in into here, and we want another noise, maybe something like this to go in here as well. So we're now sort of flattening out even more of that noise. And really it's just about kind of playing around with these values and seeing you know, how they work. That's really it for now. That's how to start generating height maps. If you've gotten to this stage and you feel like you kind of understand how the black-white works and some of the initial nodes, you know, you're ready to move on to the more advanced tutorials, like the ones I will be linking in Alba. So well done.